Let's begin. So important announcements, intense announcements, controversial announcements. Full streams are no longer available for free. This doesn't mean they're $100 each. It's just $1 a month. And that's the minimum pledge amount on Patreon. Watchers are only $1 a month, but they get all of the critique hours, which is 8 a month. It's 2 a week. That's the full hour available for patrons of all tiers. So if you join as an apprentice, you also get the Patreon exclusive critique hour streams. The streams themselves are still free, so you could still join on Twitch for free. It's just the recordings are $1 submission, $1 pledge minimum. But that's it for announcements. Today I'm going to be using a little bit of Portrait Studio. If you're wondering what that is, it's a software that Abu and I developed, and it helps you generate references. There's a model that you can move around. There's you can control the light, the shadow, the camera, everything in real time, and it's available on my store. But it might go to something around 55 to 60% of the price sale. It'll still be on sale, but less of a sale. So make sure you guys grab your copy if you are interested in having it. Brushes are also on sale. Everything has come down. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing I wanted to cover was this piece here. It's a very obvious mistake if you guys can see it. And I'm going to show it to you on the Portrait Studio model here. So let's recreate the same shadow on her face, the same half shadow on her face, coming from the side. Okay, and look at what happens to the nose shadow. You did the same shadow on the face, in fact even more so, but the nose shadow still points straight. That's 2 different light sources that you did. That's unacceptable. And that shadow on the forehead, take a look if we recreate it here. Also very, very like the disconnected shadows. You have different light sources. You've completely thrown off the physics of the whole thing. So you always have to have all your attention paid, all the early RAM of the painting process. You know, you only have so much per session. You have to focus all of that on the first couple sessions of a portrait. Let's say you're doing 1 hour increments, and you're taking a break in between. Each one of those times, always prioritize the fundamentals. And it's such a vague word when you hear it. I know, it's like super vague. I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. Fundamentals is basically what's the first shadow that resulted from the first and largest light. Write that back to me. So that means it's the core shadow, the main shadow from the primary light source. That's the thing you have to focus on. When you don't have it, your work looks weird, it looks pasty, it looks unusual, and I just don't get what's going on. So one of the things that one of the biggest critiques I would say is that the shadows are off, but that's because I'm thinking about it technically. The general image feels stiff. I don't like her. I don't know what she's going through. Nothing about her seems forgiving. Nothing about her seems behind the mask. When you have a character like this, and let's say this was a character in a movie, she seems very proper and put together. She's dressed up in really flamboyant jewelry, I would say. That's like mistress jewelry or some kind of empress jewelry or some kind of brothel lady jewelry or some kind of queen jewelry, you know, like big out of blown up overly sized jewelry. It's not a tiny dainty little earring for a secretary. She seems like she's a secretary with an appetite. Okay, just telling stories here. So what you want to do is, you know, pull from that darkness, you know, pull from that. She seems like a very dark character. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix the lighting, but I'm also going to fix the character. I'm also going to fix the attitude of the piece. What I could do is just experiment a little bit with the Portrait Studio model. So I'm just going to load the model, figure, female, and I'm going to zoom up a little bit on the model. And then just try to recreate this girl's gesture, but obviously make it more fluid. All right, so what I want to do is relax her shoulders a little bit. So I'm going to raise her neck. I'm going to lower her shoulders. But I also want to kind of tilt her body a little. So I'm going to zoom out. And that's just as simple as tilting it this way. I don't care what's happening with the legs and all that. So I'm just gonna tilt it this way. Tilt the body this way a little bit. Tilt the neck that way. And so just so the shoulders are a little bit off center. One shoulder's a little bit higher than the other. All right, so ignore what's happening to the lower body. It's just about the upper body. See that? And then I want to tilt the head forward a little. Forward means danger. Look at that danger in her character now compared to before. And then that combined with your shadow, and then the shadow of her glasses, and maybe a little glare on her glasses, some anime Death Note glare on the glasses. What do you think? One second. Just sipping some overbrewed tea. And then you could do something else with her arms. Maybe one of the arms is holding a clipboard or something secretarial, but not sassy, you know, just enough that she looks like she's holding some kind of clipboard. We don't have to draw it, we're just applying it. And maybe this arm is a little bit behind, maybe she's walking. So she's a secretary, but she's got a bit of darkness to her. You gotta tell stories. You gotta be able to tell stories. And how do you learn that? Well, you gotta watch more movies, guys. So I'm gonna apply these changes to her. You can take a screenshot with the program. I just use Greenshot. Just placing everything where it needs to go. It's okay if it's messy, but you know what you guys' problem is? As soon as things get messy, y'all quit. Y'all like, no, I'm gonna do the thing that has immediate gratification. I'm gonna start doing cleanup. I'm gonna start doing detail. I'm gonna do some specular highlights. I'm gonna make it so that if somebody walks into my room right now, they don't see a piece of crap full of rough lines and stuff. They see a finished piece, which is really toxic. That's a toxic way to think about your art. All right. Top rim also needs a cast shadow line. And then over here around the nose, a little bit more structure around the nose. And then merging that down with that, right? And then we could add the glare back. The glare you could add as a separate light. Let's say she's nearby that goopy goop stuff that was transforming people. That goopy goop stuff that was making everybody... What was that? Was that Singed? That old dude that was making the goopy goop in Arcane? Was that Singed? Anyway. That's something you could reflect on it. You could reflect them like that. I'm just showing you what they do. I'm going to darken the whole scene, y'all. So I'm going to bring in a darken tool that uses some of that eerie pink. All right, so I'm going to darken it. And then what I want are the glasses to come out. I'm going to just fix up this background layer you've got here. Merging down. I like the patterns and the blur and all of that, so I'm going to keep it. I just want to disconnect it from her. All right. Oh, I lost the smile a bit. That's okay. I can bring it back. Subtlety is key. Subtlety is professionalism. Write that back to me. The other eye isn't important. All right, so don't freak out. No, I don't see the other eye. It's okay. I'm going to add the darkest point of the mouth with darken tool, just with burn tool, just because I don't want to keep jumping in between layers. And it's such a small amount of paint, it's really inconsequential how I pull it off. The lash line of the eye, a little bit of the shadows need to be darkened. Alrighty, so let us look at the before and after. It's a different size canvas, so I have to do it like this. So before, Okay, so it looked like somebody took their 14-day challenge and added a story to it. And you can see that's not hard to adjust the 14-day challenge submission to have some narrative with the help of Portrait Studio. We didn't have to do a lot to this model to create this huge change. So before, after, right? A lot more change, a lot more personality, completely different story, I'm sure. But I still feel that secretary feel off of her. She still feels, I mean, it's the glasses. It's definitely the glasses, and the haircut and the turtleneck. But yeah, I hope this critique hour helped you guys. She definitely looked old and tired. Yeah, it was just about that extra little bit of shadow you added. She's a very boring secretary. I don't feel a lot of story coming out of her for someone with that much bangs and that huge an earring and glasses that look like Ray-Bans. So it seems like she has a lot more style than your character that you designed. It seems like she has a character bursting out that you want to share. You're just not sure how to pull it off. Well, today I showed you, you just need a bit of gesture, you need a bit of atmosphere, and you have an illustration, a full-on illustration. How do you get your work submitted? So this piece was found on Reddit. Go to istebrak.com and click on the Reddit icon right here. It'll take you to our subreddit. This is the mecca of our community. This is where everything happens. This is where I pick art to critique. This is where you submit your 14-day challenge to get good. This is where you get critiqued. This is where I post all sales, all announcements of any kind, including community challenges. If you want to support, if you want to get the full videos, if you want to get today's full video, go to istebrak.com and click on the Patreon icon right here. It'll take you to my Patreon, and you can just join as $1. It's open to all patrons, $1 and above. Anyway, thank you everyone for joining, who has joined on Patreon, who's joined the Reddit, who's joined today's stream. You guys are the heart and soul of my community. Thank you so much for coming to the stream. It means a lot that you guys are here talking to me, exchanging thoughts. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys on Thursday, hopefully at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Bye, guys.